Okay, guys, before we go on to some solving a quadratic inequality, I want to talk to you about, remind you how we solve quadratic equations. Okay, there's a few methods that we've done in class. Factoring, of course, is the quickest if you can, recognize that it can be factored. In this case, I could take an x out. The reason factoring works is because I'm set equal to 0. When I have two things that multiply to 0, one or the other or both have to be 0. So for this case, I get x is 0, x is -6, and I'm done. This one isn't set equal to 0, so I have to first set myself up to factor, get everything on one side, 0 on the other. And this time it's not quite as quick to notice what could be factored here. I do know the only thing that multiplies to 2x squared is 2x times x. I know the only things that multiply to 3 are 3 and 1. So I try that first and see if my outer product and my inner product somehow combine to -1. I notice that my outer product, 2x times 1 is 2x. My inner product, 3 times x is 3x. If 3x is negative and 2x is positive, that will add to -1. So this factored, again, I have two things that multiply to 0. One or the other has to be 0. Either 2x minus 3 is 0, or perhaps x plus 1 is 0. For 2x minus 3 to equal 0, 2x would have to equal 3, and x would be 1.5, or x is -1. There are two answers to this. This parabola obviously crosses the x-axis twice at 3/2 and -1. Another way to solve a quadratic is simply by the square root method. If I see an x squared or something squared by itself, I'm just going to take the square root of both sides. As long as I remember, of course, that when I take the square root, the answer is plus or minus square root. So I have square root of 5 or negative square root of 5 are my two answers. X is the square root of 5 or x is negative square root of 5. Here I will do the same thing. I get x minus 2 equals plus or minus 4. So then I'm going to add 2 to the other side, and my answers are 2 plus or minus 4. I'm not going to let my answers like that, guys. Go ahead and do the addition. 2 plus 4 is 6. And the subtraction, 2 minus 4 is -2. I have two answers, 6 or -2. I have two answers up here, square root of 5 or negative square root of 5. That was the square root method. We also, if all else fails, hey, we have the quadratic formula right here. It has to be set equal to 0 to work. I'll take the opposite of b, plus or minus b squared. -5 squared is 25. Minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times 3, which is 6. So I have 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 12, which is 13, all over 6. My two answers are 5 plus the square root of 13 over 6, or 5 minus the square root of 13 over 6. These are the two answers for x that if I plug them in here, I will get 0. This one isn't set up at all for me. I need to subtract the 4x over here, get it equal to 0. I want my ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. It's the only way the quadratic formula works. Opposite of b, plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. 16 minus 24 is -8. So I have 4 plus or minus I square roots of 8. We did the complex number unit. We know how to rewrite these. 8 is 2 root 2. And since this is even, and this is even, I am going to divide them each by 2 to give me my answers of 2 plus or minus I root 2 over 3. Again, those are the two answers for x. They're imaginary. This obviously is a parabola that maybe opens, 3 is positive, so it opens up here somehow It never actually touches the x-axis at all, but we have imaginary roots. 2 plus or minus I squared is a 2 all over 3. This one isn't set up at all, okay? I'm going to multiply everything by x squared in order to be able to have this look like something I can solve. 9 times x squared is 9x squared. 3 over x times x squared is 3x. 2 over x squared times x squared is 2. 0 times x squared is 0. Now I have something that looks like a quadratic. Okay, you have to multiply x squared times each term. Opposite of b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c is a negative 2 all over twice a. 2 times 9 is 18. Okay, so we have negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus, what is that, 7 negative, so plus 72? Oh, I could have probably factored this. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 81. Well, the square root of 81 is 9. I have negative 3 plus 9 over 18. That would be, what, 6/18? I have negative 3 minus 9 over 18. That would be negative 12. Certainly I'm going to reduce those. 6/18 is 1/3. Negative 12/18 is negative 2/3. So I have 1/3 or negative 2/3 for that answer. Okay. Anyway, that's solving. We've done that before. What we want to do now is solve not where it equals 0, where it's less than or equal to 0. Okay, so we might need some of those strategies that we just went over. We also can look at the graph. Here's my graph, guys, of y equals x squared minus 4x minus 12. How can that graph help me know where x squared minus 4x minus 12 is less than or equal to 0? Okay, when I look at the graph of y equals this, and they're asking me where is this, notice that's the same as this over here, where is this less than or equal to 0? Well, where is that less than or equal to 0? It looks like it's under, my y coordinates are less than 0 from the time x is negative 2 until the time x is 6. In between negative 2 and 6 is what I would say. I'll include negative 2 and 6 since it says less than or equal to 0. Okay? I'm looking at the graph and I can answer this question. There is a test point method, and that's where you find where it equals 0. And that's where the strategies from the previous page will come in handy. I'm going to factor it, x minus 2, minus 6x plus 2. So where does it equal 0? It equals 0 at 6 and at negative 2. So we find where it equals 0, and then we test the numbers in those intervals. I'm going to test something less than negative 2. Anything. I'll use negative 4 maybe. It doesn't matter. Something between negative 2 and 6. I'm going to use 0 because that's easy to stick in. And then something bigger than 6, I'll use 7. And I'll see if I get positives or negatives. When I put negative 4 in for x, I get negative 4 squared minus 4 times negative 4. That's plus 16 minus 12. I can see that that's positive. 16 plus 16 minus 12. I have positives here until I hit negative 2. When I put 0 in, 0 squared minus 0 is 0, minus 12 is negative 12. So in between, I'm at negative. When I put 7 in, 7 squared is 49, minus 28 minus 12. Those are positive. That's a positive answer. Okay, so I can see, since the question was, where am I less than or equal to 0? Right here, where I got negatives. Okay, you just have to test one number. All right, so I got from -2 to 6. Well, I got that just from looking at the graph. Way easier and quicker. Okay, so if I'm asked to solve this inequality, guys, I'm first of all going to make sure I have it less than 0. They're going to mess you up there a little bit. Okay, please make sure, like I'm going to subtract x and subtract 10 over here. The strategy was to figure out where that equals 0. Okay, I want to see where that equals 0 first. So I might try, I'm not sure if this will factor or not. What's 10? 5 times 2. Yeah, that'll work, right? If that's 4x, if that's positive, but my 5x is negative, then that'll give me that -1. Oh, goody, it factored. So the two places that it equals 0 at 5/2 or -2. All right, I'm going to picture this graph. At -2 and 2.5, it equals 0. I also know that this graph opens up because it's a positive. I don't really care about much other than I know it looks something like this. Okay, it's asking me where is it less than 0? Well, it's less than 0 between -2 and 2.5. This time I'm not using brackets because it doesn't say less than or equal to. But my graph is less than 0 between -2 and 2.5. I didn't have to use the test point method. I just found where it equaled 0, and then I pictured the graph. Okay, let's just pretend that this would have said, where is 2x squared minus x minus 10 greater than or equal to 0? I would have done the exact same thing, except now I'm looking for where is my parabola above the x-axis. And I would say that that is right here and right here. So my answer would have been -∞ up to -2 in union with 2.5 to infinity. That's where my parabola is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, I would have noticed that, okay, from the time x is -∞ until I hit -2, my y coordinates that are associated with them are above the x-axis. And then again, once I hit 2.5 and beyond, my y coordinates are greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so just picturing the graph helps so much. I don't really use the test point method. I just picture the graph. Once I find where they're equal, I figure out, am I going down or up? What are they asking me for? If they're asking me for less than 0, I'm looking for below the x-axis. Greater than or equal to 0, I'm looking for above. All right? So good luck with the homework then.